Yes! Welcome back. I don't know what that was. I have no idea. That should not be a thing, by the way. That should not be a new thing as how I intro my shows. I feel drunk.
That Bovril and hot chocolate.
I know. I feel drunk and I have no idea why. I've been drinking orange juice this afternoon. Welcome back to the What Are We Doing Here podcast. It's Monday. Unfortunately, this podcast is sandwiched in between a Fulham defeat and an away game, a nice easy away game at St. James's Park. So what could possibly go wrong today? We'll be talking about everything. We've asked a very important question in the poll. It is, what is your halftime snack of choice? Is it a burger, a pie, a hot dog, or something else? Why not? Hey, why not? Why not? Why not? Perchy, Chris, happy Monday. How are we?
Yeah, good. Mine's a chicken balti pie. If you wanted to know, chicken balti pie and a pint. Sorry, that is perfect. Chris is more of a Bovril hot chocolate. Depends what he wants. I'm going cheeseburger. I feel like you're a cheeseburger kind of guy at halftime.
I don't eat at half. I don't eat at the ground really. So
nah, you're against the establishment. Yeah, I don't buy it.
Exactly. And also, it's better than most grounds. I'll grant you that, but I still don't think it's actually very nice. So I don't.
Tell you what, though. No, what I will say, pizza at the stadium is very, very good. The pizza is very good. I have had that before.
I'm going to open up with a boring fact for the day, though. Savva was just talking about his orange juice consumption. You know, orange juice does have alcohol in it.
Really? Is that why? Is that why I feel how I feel?
Naturally, it has alcohol in it, but it's at such a low level that you can still say it's
makes sense why I love orange juice now.
You'd have to drink an awful lot of it. Like, I don't know.
I do, to be fair. I love orange juices. So
probably about half the amount that Phil P drinks on an average night, and that might get you pissed on orange juice.
Phil P, he's a drinking machine. I haven't seen Phil P about for ages. Yes. Anyway, in the chat, how are we, everybody? Everybody looking forward to a little trip up to Newcastle tomorrow? Chris, are you going?
No. So if anyone wants a ticket,
should we raffle it off?
Oh, I think we should. I think we should put like a hashtag Chris's ticket, and then we do a little the little poll thing on StreamYard.
You can fucking do it as far as I'm concerned, as long as no one dobs
me. Oh, you should. If anyone wants to go, put hashtag Chris's ticket in the chat, and you'll get raffled off at the end of the show. How much do you want for it,
Chris? How much do you want for it?
Can have it, mate. I'm not bothered.
Right, so we can give it away live on stream. Wow.
Yeah.
Is there any rules in terms of what would someone need? Like, if you said to me right now, Savva, you can have my ticket, I just rock up to Newcastle with it, or how does that work?
I need to send you the email, and then you can just have it on your phone. The only small thing here is you can dob me into the club.
We work. No one's screwing each other over it. Come on.
Yeah, it's just live on the internet. Yeah, don't worry. It's just.
I'm pretty sure. I need to dig it out somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's a digital ticket.
Can I ask how much did they charge for the pleasure of Newcastle away?
Away tickets are pretty much always 30 quid.
Yeah, normally. Okay.
And then just the £4 million it costs to get to the north and back, right? Just.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, no, I was going to say, who knows, mate? Maybe I can't be arsed. It's just so far on a Tuesday night.
Oh, I mean, so let's look at this. The game kicks off at 8, right? Let's say the game finishes, by the time VAR, the fucking shit refs and VAR that you love, Chris, have added on about 95 minutes VAR at the end. So the game, finishes at 10, 5:10. By the time you get out the stadium, by the time people get back to their cars or the train, oh my God, that is a long old, that's a slog, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably for me. So I'm in Milton Keynes, so I'm a bit further north than London. But
you can't get back though, can you? People can't get back because there's no trains going home.
Yeah, so it's probably a 4.5 hour drive, I'd say, and that's without stopping, right? You're going to want to rest at some point during that. I'm just trying to find my ticket, mate, but
Well, this is exciting. If anyone in the chat really wants to go to Newcastle, let us know. We might be able to listen. Football Heritage TV is a place of dreams. It's the place of dreams. We're giving away. Listen, if it makes you feel better, people, 13 of our points this season have come away from home. So
you just know it's going to be. People go, "Nah, I can't be bothered. We're crap," and then we'll go over there and win 3-0. Like it feels like that sort of thing. It's going to happen. By the way,
listen, I can't see Spurs winning any game 3-0 at the moment, even if they played us. But sure, I'm all for it. Well, look, we'll see how it goes later on in the show. We'll chuck you all over to the Spurs 5 at 8 p.m. I'm sure that will be an interesting, lively watch. Someone said it kicks off at 8:15.
Yeah,
8:15.
Fucking ridiculous.
Who kicks off at 8:15 on a Tuesday night in the north? The north.
Isn't this exactly the problem though? With all these international breaks, now they're having to throw in games in at 8:15 on a Tuesday in December up in Newcastle. Like, you know, when they always do these, and they always say, obviously, it's all random and stuff like that. I always say, like, let's screw it. Let's start this discussion about this, because this is what this channel is all about. We just have a chat about. Do you know when they say all these things are random, but you know if games are going to be set midweek for whatever reason, should they set it so that they're within a certain perimeter of each other? Like for example, Bournemouth playing, say, Newcastle should not be set at a game where it's ridiculous for people to not go home. I think about this all the time, like, especially because we think about London obviously being London itself, but think about clubs south of London. Brighton's, the Bournemouths having to go up to Newcastle. Like, it's crazy, right? Like, surely they have to set it. They should do.
Yeah, like couldn't you have made tonight like Liverpool v Newcastle?
Yeah,
you know,
and Tottenham versus West Ham or someone like that.
Yeah. Wouldn't Chris? I mean, in your opinion, for fans, that's much better, right? Like I'm sure they'd have to do a little bit of chopping and changing, but if you're a Liverpool fan getting to Newcastle, I don't know the exact connection, but I'm guessing from Liverpool to Newcastle isn't that bad, right?
I think it's pretty shit, to be fair. Yeah, they're going across the country.
Not as shit as London to Newcastle, right? Like Liverpool is pretty north, isn't it?
I mean, if you went with Sunderland, maybe that would be a bit easier.
You got Sunderland as well. But I think, the point is, surely it must be easier for Liverpool fans to go to Newcastle on a Tuesday night than it is for London.
I'm going to say that. I'm going to find out, but I'm going to say that's still. I'm going to guess at 3.5 hours, Liverpool to Newcastle.
What, Liverpool to Newcastle?
It's still a long journey, because the way that
the drive from Liverpool to
that's
Newcastle?
my guess. I'm going to tell you what the AA says it is in a second. Plan route.
3 hours in a car.
3 hours in a car.
3 hours
in a car. Right.
3 hours.
So let's go more with. Let's go more with Sunderland. Let's say every time Newcastle play on a Tuesday night.
It's Leeds
would be easier.
Leeds might be close as well.
Oh, at least 100% closer.
Yeah. But my point is I'm just using those as examples, right? That doesn't pick anyone, but like in the context of surely the schedulers should be going. It's Tuesday night. The kickoff we scheduled it at 8:15. We want away fans to be travelling. Because let's be fair with it. If anyone is going, and I know there'll be people in the chat that are going, there'll be some people that we know will be going up there. Probably Lubo might be going up. I don't know, but you're either going
Lubo's going.
Lubo's down. Yeah, so Lubo's going up. So you're gonna either have to go. You're gonna have to drive, right? If you've got work on Wednesday, so you're gonna have to drive. You're gonna have to book the whole day off on the Tuesday because you're gonna have to travel up in the morning. You either then drive in the middle of the night to get home so you can get to work on the Wednesday, or you book the Wednesday off. Like, it's a bit arduous, right? And this is why I respect people that do travel away all the time, because that's a commitment, man.
Yeah, Lubo's staying over, I think, which is your other option, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he's getting the train and then stopping over for the night. But then it all adds up. I mean, he can afford to do it. He's retired, but afford to do it time-wise, I mean, because if you do that as a working guy, that's 2 days off. And then just the cost of staying over somewhere. But this is not a new thing,
Lubo does work for himself, though, doesn't he? So he gets the flexibility.
But
my point is you're right, though. If someone works in an office or works a normal 9 to 5, for example, you're sitting there going, I've got to book 2 days off to go to Newcastle.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anyway, yeah, screw the Premier League fixture panel people. Oh God, yes. The first troll of the evening. We've had a lovely chat about nothing. And someone called Eilers, oh bless him, he watches. Is that manga? Is that what that silly cartoon shit is for 4-year-olds?
Sorry, what? What did you call it?
Is it manga? I don't know. What is it? What is that cartoon nonsense?
Anime. Is it not anime?
Oh, mate, I couldn't give a
it's like
flying
Japanese
fuck.
cartoons, right?
It's for children.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Hello, Eilers. Let's remember, this is the manager Savva wanted. Oh, I know. Imagine football fan has opinion and it doesn't work out. Oh, no. Just imagine, Eilers. Everyone just remember that this twat hasn't even got his own picture or real name. But Eilers, thank you for making my day. What a twat. Sorry, guys. I like calling out twats. And this guy is a twat. Always in it. When Spurs started well, it's so funny how many people didn't WhatsApp me, didn't go into the chats, didn't come into my comment section. Spurs in a bad run, they all appear. YouTubers as well that suddenly get very loud. It's almost like people love Spurs doing badly. It is what it is. Guys, let's have a look. So Newcastle tomorrow night. Yes, it is a long journey. People are saying the last train back is 9:58 p.m. from Newcastle. So that would be, if I'm not wrong, just before the final.
And halfway into the second half.
Would it? Quarter past?
Yeah.
No, it'd be just as the game.
You know what I mean? Stuff.
Yeah. And Lee thinks that Kudus is the problem. Kudus should be the one dropped. He's not done nothing, even though he scored a blinder at the weekend. We are a funny bunch. Do we bother talking about football? Does anyone want to talk about Newcastle tomorrow night? Is anyone excited? Can Spurs go there and spoil the party and get a win and give Frank a little bit of relief from the drama?
I think for me though, I think we're at a stage where the manager just needs a moment now. I feel a bit sorry. Like, I think I can be definitely critical with a lot of what he's done, but he does need. We need to have a moment against a team, and just like a Newcastle. Newcastle's a good example. Hard team to go away to, go and try and get a result, get something out of there where we can go, okay. But as I always say, though, Savva, you know this, I say this all the time. Chris, you know as well. I say this all the time. We're 3 games from doom and 3 games from success. So you win 3 in a row and no meltdown's over, right? You lose 3 and the manager's probably going to get the sack. I think we're on a knife edge at the moment, and something's got to happen. If we don't get anything at Newcastle, it could be a problem.
People are.
I just looked up as a random segue, by the way.
Sorry,
I just looked up the coach travel.
What's Ninja Scroll?
Go on, Chris.
I was going to say the coach travel. You know what time that you have to leave to get the coach leaves from Lee Valley Athletic Centre to get to Newcastle if you want to go tomorrow? 11 o'clock in the morning.
Oh God! Oh, can you imagine? So I'd have to leave my house, get to Lee Valley. Right, which, if I'm not wrong, isn't Lee Valley in and around sort of Leighton, that sort of way?
East London,
yeah.
Wrong. Right. Okay. So I'd have to leave my house. So I'm leaving my house tomorrow morning at about 9:30, right, to get to Lee Valley, to travel to Newcastle, for the game to finish at about 10:15, right, for the coach to drop me back at Lee Valley at, I'm guessing, 4 a.m. 4 So then by the time I get home, it's 6 a.m. So I've had a 19-hour day to watch a 90-minute game of football.
So if anybody wants the ticket, just let me know.
Jesus Christ. Does anyone live in Newcastle that wants the ticket? That would be the dream. Didn't we have hang on. Didn't someone pop onto our members only show once, Perchy? There wasn't that cab driver
Yes, there is a cab driver, yeah. But I don't think it was Newcastle, was it? I don't think it was Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said he lived in Newcastle because he was talking about some things to do with Gaza and Waddle and stuff.
Oh, possibly, yeah, you could be right. No, it's Jeff.
Jeff, it was Jeff, yes.
It was Lubo's mate, Jeff.
Jeff, where are you? Jeff, if Andrew, if this is true and you live in Newcastle, we've got a ticket. We've got a ticket for people. This is bad, isn't it? Yeah, look, it's strange, isn't it? Because as badly as Spurs are doing, I feel very calm about it all, just because I feel like I've seen this story before. This is like, so when me and the missus, before the new season of Stranger Things came out, right? We said, let's go back to the beginning and we'll watch it all again so that it just piggybacks onto the new season. This is what I feel like Spurs is like. It's kind of like, I'll watch it again, but I kind of know what's going to happen in the next 3-4 months. Is that fair that we got to that stage where we just know it?
What, that he's gone?
No, just we know how this pans out. If he gets a couple of wins, if he gets a couple of wins, he's bought some time. If he gets a couple of defeats, it will get so toxic that inevitably managers lose their job. I mean,
I think the one thing that is what I would say protecting Frank at the moment is the fact that there is such a cluster of teams with a similar amount of points, right? So it's almost, we're not, from a point is we aren't a million miles away from getting into the top 4, and we're equally not miles away. Huh? No, but my point, no, but that's my point though. So like, my point is though, if, for example, that's why I think the 3-game cluster at the moment is really important. You get 9 points in the next 3, you're safe again. You lose the next 3, then you're knocking at the door and there's going to be questions, right? Like, this is the point.
I don't even know if he's got 3 games, mate.
I don't know if he's got 3 games.
I don't know, but my point is, I get your point there, but my point is if you go from third down to 14th, so 11 teams, it's separated by 6 points. That's a 2-game swing, right? So
it is. Can I ask you a question, though? Can I ask you a question? And it is. And listen, I'd love to sit here and be positive. I would. I'd love to sit here and be positive. I'd love to say it's a 2-game swing. But what odds? Chris is an odds guy. Not odd.
Well, both.
Both. But I'm being polite tonight. Chris is an odds guy, and when I say that, people, he's worked in betting for years. What odds would you give on a Spurs back-to-back beating Newcastle and Brentford in the next 2 games? What odds do you think you'd get on that? Because we must be 6-1 to win at Newcastle. Let me check.
Shall I do it now? Shall I literally see that bet to win the next 2 games?
Here you go. Right.
I reckon
Spurs tomorrow. The lowest I can get Spurs is 4.75 to 1. So just under 5 to 1 is the lowest I can get Spurs.
Hang on. We're gonna. I've got 7 to 2, and for Spurs to win, and then on the Sky Bet, and then on the Saturday. Hang on. Here we go. And then we play Brentford on the Saturday. Do you want to know what the odds are?
Go on.
9 to 1.
Not
Tottenham to beat Newcastle and Tottenham to beat Brentford is 9 to 1. Or 8.9 to 1. But you call it 9 to 1.
9 to 1.
So we're slightly odds against Brentford, aren't we?
We are against Brentford. It's 6 to 5, and they're 21 to 10. Brentford. Let's be fair with it. If you're doing an accumulate for the 3 o'clocks on Saturday, you're picking Brentford in that. Spurs can't win a game at home. 21 to 10.
Do you know what? It's the sort of thing, though, right? Like where I'd go, right, this is the only game I'm allowed to put in. I need a 5-team acca, and this is going to be the last game. Knowing my luck, I'd put Brentford, and it would be the game
go and win.
Spurs go and win, right? Yeah, it's look, without all the doom and gloom, because listen, I'll leave that for the Spurs 5 tonight. They can deep dive into it in a real
this is the fun podcast
way, right? But I mean, I think Chris is right. Chris said there, I don't think he's got 3 games. Chris, what do you think? What do you think he needs to do to make? Let's have a look. If I look at the Spurs fixture, so we've got Newcastle, Brentford, Slavia Prague, Forest. Do you think for him to make the Forest games that he's got to win at least 2 of the next 3? Is it that bad? Are the board thinking that way for you, or is this a fan emotion and the board are comfortable and thinking, no, this is a long-term gig?
Because of where the fans are, though, they are going to lose their mind, especially if it's Brentford for obvious reasons, with him being the ex-Brentford. Although I'm just going to say something on that. I always find it's a bit simplistic to go, oh, look, Brentford are above us in the table. Thomas Frank slept. Yeah, but everything that Thomas Frank has done at Brentford doesn't vanish the second he leaves, right? There's still, you can't just say this is solely Keith Andrews, although Keith Andrews seems to be doing pretty well. But anyway,
I think he's doing a good job.
It's cumulative, mate. It's cumulative. I expect us to lose tomorrow. If we do, the pressure on that Brentford game is massive. I don't know if it's a must win, but it's a can't lose, I think. I think if he loses at home to Brentford, and there's always an element of performance in it as well. If we perform even if we perform like we did against Fulham, but if we perform like we did against Chelsea or Arsenal against Brentford, I think the atmosphere will be so toxic. I don't know if he gets to Slavia Prague. And you've got to be beating Slavia Prague. You're absolutely.
Yeah. Can I ask something? Can I say something you put in the chat earlier, Chris? It's quite important. It's quite relevant, right? What after last season? I think you made a great point in the chat we spoke about earlier. Was having the club set a precedent that Thomas Frank will go, well, hang on a minute. Last season, you let the last guy lose every week so we can focus on in Europe. I right now have lost 1 game in Europe against the best team in the world. Could you? Could he just sit there? I don't think it's the case. But couldn't he sit there and go, well, hang on a minute. Isn't that a little bit double standards? I've come in, I've been here 5 minutes, and I'm doing what I'm expected to do in Europe. I've lost 1 game of football away at Paris Saint-Germain.
What happens to us? We can't judge managers until they're out of all the cups.
But isn't this the point though? I don't think we're going to win the Champions League, but surely if we're going to be very balanced and we're going to use the same logic we did last season, surely that's got to be in the conversation, right? Like, look, I'll be honest.
I think you're being a bit.
No, I am. I'm doing it. No, I know what you're saying. I'm doing it for a reason, though, Chris, because everyone told me at the beginning of this season that trophies matter, league position doesn't. Now, the same people now are using that argument. Matt, I'm not dying on a hill.
So
but Matt, sorry, 1 second. I'm not dying on a hill for Thomas Frank. I'm using the same logic that was used last season for this season. I always Savva's line. This is Savva's line.
It's not Matt, is it?
No, another Matt.
What is it with the name Matt? Like, what? Why is it?
What I will say, I will use a Savva line. I will have to caveat this. He loves that line. He does. He loves saying that. But I don't care if Thomas Frank is sacked. I don't care. I feel like I always have to explain this. If he's sacked, what's the plan? No one to this moment has told me the plan if you sack him. But you say this is poor. I'm just using the narrative that was used last season as to why we should have kept a hold of it. People like the other Matt in the chat were saying all last season, Europa League is all that matters. Europa League's all that matters. Well, why should we be sacking Thomas Frank if Europe's the only thing that matters? Just saying.
Can we be honest? As I said, I've tried to be really calm about all this purely because, first of all, I'm drained. Like I haven't got another campaign in me. Do you know what I mean? I haven't got another campaign of Second of all, look, I think we all acknowledge, right? I think this is probably where Chris is, like, from the way he said it. I think we kind of acknowledge that results are everything. And if the results continue the way they have been, the question is, Danny, you got this spot on today. The question will be, the board are the only ones that will make the decision. It won't be me. It won't be you. It won't be Chris. It won't be the Spurs 5 or We Are Tottenham TV or Expressions Oozing or Irish. It won't be any of us. We'll talk about it. The question for me, Chris, is, are the board going to do a Man United, i.e. Ratcliffe? For me, ballsy, came out and said, right when Amorim could not win a game for love nor money, could he? Right? And everyone's going, he's got to go. They came out and went, this is our guy. For the next 3 years, he's staying, basically saying, stop the noise. He's staying, right?
Yeah.
Are our board doing this? Or are we going to go, hang on, it's been 4 months. We paid £17 million, by the way, to sack Ange and bring him in. Let's wash our hands of him. What do you think, Chris?
I think there's a big difference between us and Man United, and that's the fan base, because my best mate's a United fan, so I keep quite close attention on them. And even in the sort of darkest days of, you can pick many managers that they've been through, but of Solskjaer and Ten Hag, they didn't really turn on them in the way that we turn on our managers in half a dozen games. So the atmosphere at Old Trafford didn't get toxic, and you didn't have thousands of fans booing. And that, for me, is the tipping point, because it doesn't really matter, in a sense, what the owner's intentions are. If it gets to the point where it's really toxic, the fans ultimately, if they've lost faith in the manager and he's still there, they'll turn on the owners, and no owner wants that. So if it gets that nasty, and I think it can, because I think that is our fan base, then I think they will pull the trigger anyway. So I cannot see them in any way doing what Jim Ratcliffe did at all.
Chris, just quickly, I want to say something else that you mentioned just now. I thought was really good. I do find it so funny now. The people that are using Brentford as the barometer of Tottenham now, are they just conveniently forgetting that Brentford are where they are today because of what Thomas Frank did there for 7 years? Like, Keith Andrews has not this. By the way, I think Keith Andrews has done a really good job, right? But are people just suddenly forgetting that everything that's been implemented, the scouting, the coaching, the player pathway, the development, the sales, has been Thomas Frank for 7 years? And now suddenly people are praising Andrews, who done well. Andrews has been backroom staff. Frank did that with his staff, right? So I find it a bit funny that we can, look, Brentford are flying without Thomas Wank after selling best player. Why do people think he's a good manager? Why are Brentford flying, do we think? Who put them in that position? Who got them from their first season when he was there? They finished 11th, I'm informed reliably. Right?
What's that?
In Brentford, in his first year, they were 11th in the championship.
11th in the championship, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then he gets them promoted, right, when they weren't favourites. And for 4 years in a row, he's not been in the bottom 3 once with a squad he built. How can we suddenly... He may not be doing well right now with Spurs, Chris, but people, you can't just sweep under the carpet somebody's history to have a go at them, can you?
But they do. There's no credit. So a couple of comments I'll highlight from a chat that I'm in that Perchy's also in over the last 24 hours. One today I saw was, the best thing he's ever done, as in trying to knock him, the only thing he's ever achieved is get Brentford to 10th. And I'm like, he's got Brentford to 10th. Like, how is that the only thing?
One side for most of my childhood.
It's unbelievable. And then the other favourite is to bash him for never winning anything. And people, I beautifully destroyed somebody in a chat yesterday over this, who we all know, but I won't mention him. Moaning about, he doesn't win anything and he never won anything at Brøndby. And I think most people go, Brøndby is a team that I've heard of in Denmark, so they must be dead good.
Right.
Therefore, but you actually look at what happened.
Yeah.
He took over Bromby and they just survived relegation by a few points. And they were on the verge of going bankrupt. So they had no money to buy senior pros. And they got him in to buy kids to just keep them up, basically, which he did really well. The project then changed and he fell out with the owner. The owner started going on messaging boards anonymously to slag him off, which is not the relationship you want. So Frank left. I think they then got taken over or got new investment. They then started buying senior established Danish pros and they went back up and they won the league. So people go, well, he didn't win the league. They went on to win the league after he left.
Yeah.
But that's a bit like going, well, Chelsea in the 90s didn't win the league. But look, they won the league in the 2000s. Yeah, because Abramovich took over. Like something significant happened, right? And it's just
it's almost like. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it's almost like? Sorry, just to jump in. It's almost like a German appointing and then going, well, he managed Everton. Everton's a team I know in England, but then not realizing Everton have been an absolute mess for the last half a decade. Sorry, like it's that same sort of relevance, isn't it? It's like ridiculous.
Yeah. Again, let me show you a selection of comments that just make me lose faith with the humans. Yeah. Now, as I've said, I have to caveat everything because otherwise people misquote me. If Frank goes, he will go because the results haven't been good enough. That's life. We move on. But have a look at the state of some of these comments, right? So now he gets no like Savva. It was Brentford. It was the Brentford owner that put things into place, not Frank. So Frank for 7 years had nothing to do with anything. The coaching of the players, the results, beating top level teams, finishing top half, not being in the bottom three once, not getting relegated once. So now we can't give him praise. No, it had nothing to do with Frank, right? Now, Lynn, who always says the opposite of what I say, I don't agree it was all Frank, but most of it must have been Thomas Frank. He was the man at the helm. Because if we're going to say we don't agree it was Frank, okay, so Pochettino's era at Spurs wasn't on Pochettino, it was on Daniel Levy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, okay, you see where I'm going with this, right, guys? Right. So what we're doing is now taking away we're very quick to say they're doing bad, but when they do good, we can't say the same thing. Then look, you've got this comment I saw was just hilarious. Look at the state of this. So when Keith Andrews finishes top half, I guess we want Keith Andrews. Daniel, sorry, mate, I'm going to ask nicely. Are you being dumb? Right? This isn't because Thomas Frank.
I think he's taking the piss on that.
I hope he is, because hopefully this isn't about Thomas Frank finishing top half once. This is about the collective job he did over 7 years that everyone is just suddenly now belittling, right?
Can I just make a point as well? Just build on that. Yeah.
Sorry, just let me finish the point on that. And this whole, he didn't win anything at Brentford. Can any of you please tell me what competition in the last 7 years at Brentford that Thomas Frank was expected to win, or even in the top 10 favourites to win? What are we doing here with these silly?
He wasn't even in the team when they got promoted. He wasn't even favourite. He wasn't even favourite to win the championship when they got promoted. They were nowhere near favourites to get promoted, right?
But
I apologise if you were being sarcastic. I apologise.
Yeah, he was. Just to build on that point about Brentford, if you want to make the argument that it's not Frank and it was, you're probably going to argue it's Matthew Benham, right, who took over, put the analytics in place. That's fine. But he took over the club in June 2012. Frank takes over as manager. I don't even know when it was. When was it? 2019, something like that. They're mid-table in the championship. So how then, if it's nothing to do with Frank, how do you explain them going from the championship to the Premier League? Because you can't have it both ways. You can't say they're only doing really well in the Premier League because of what was there beforehand. But what was there beforehand was mid-table in the championship. So it doesn't make any sense.
I remember last week.
Isn't this the comment though? Hang on. Isn't this the comment? All the people that want Iriola, right?
Great point.
So is Iriola. By the way, I don't even think Bournemouth have been. I think Bournemouth have done well. Everyone's going on as though Bournemouth have qualified for the Champions League or something. They're a very wide open team that concede a lot of goals, by the way. I like Iriola, but isn't this the point? I've got loads of people going to me, I want De Zerbi. Okay, De Zerbi was at Brighton. I want Iriola. All right, Iriola is at Bournemouth. I want Glasner. All right, Glasner's at Palace. So the same thing that everyone is mocking Thomas Frank for, right, is the same logic that will be applied to most of the managers, Perchy, that they're telling me they want.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like, as I said, yeah, great, bang on. But do you know what's funny, right? I just find it funny. You know, I say this all the time, and I'll keep saying it. The currency of not being involved in Tottenham is through the roof, by the way. Every manager all of a sudden, like, hear me out. Let's play this game. We didn't appoint Thomas Frank, but we appointed Oliver Glasner. The same people that are blaming Thomas Frank right now would all be going, God, Glasner's not very good, is he? God, he can't get this team to work. Ever thought maybe you understand why he can't? Next one is Xavi Hernandez is the next one on the list that everyone wants now. Great. What's he going to do when he walks through the door? Guys, okay, we're going to play hot potato with the ball. Pass the move. And you notice immediately that that's not going to be able to happen because we haven't got very good technical football players. I just, look, as I say, and I always have to repeat myself, if Frank goes, you're right. You are right. If Frank loses more games of football in the short amount of time, he will get the sack, whatever happens. Now, the name balling as a YouTuber, you're going to have a great time because it'll be name after name after name after name. And everyone's going to be, I want this one, but I want that one, but I want this one. For me, I think the bigger picture for me is whoever it is, it doesn't have to be Thomas Frank. And for people in the chat, I'm not defending Thomas Frank. He's got to get things correct to save his own job. That's not on me. That's not on anyone else. It's on him. But can we just, for once, go, fine, the next manager, whoever it is, if it's this one or the next one, just go, do you know what? The opportunity is to give him an opportunity to go, do you know what? Do you know one of the horrible things, I think, if Thomas Frank does get the sack, there's going to be 4 or 5 players. There's going to be, yeah, exactly. There's 4 or 5 players that would have never played a competitive game under this manager. Now let that sink in. And I'm talking about first team players, as in, Solanke had a couple of sub appearances, does if you want to count that. But Kulusevski won't have played a game under him. Madison won't have. And I'm missing someone. Someone's going to shout it out. Dragoshin hasn't.
Dragoshin, Basuma, Madison, Kulu, and Solanke will be the 5.
Solanke has played, but it was a couple of minutes. Yeah, but it doesn't really count, right?
Yeah. But I guess the question is then, Chris. Chris. I guess the question is here, right? Like, I don't think anybody. And listen, I've got to get this guy. I can't be dealing with these. Anyone improved under him? Anyone who thinks football has improved in the 13 Premier League games to the point where we all go, wow, look how much he's improved, don't understand what coaches actually do. The interesting thing for me, Chris, is this. We're all old and ugly enough to know, right, how football works, how football management works. We all know if a manager loses enough games, it does not matter whether or not anyone wants him in or out. He will be gone. That's just a fact. Yeah. So all the people that can only say Frank out, fine, that's great. My question, Chris, I've been asking everyone this. I'll ask you the same. What's the plan? Frank goes, what's the plan from tomorrow? But what I want, Chris, is for you and the people in the chat to give me the plan that is realistic. Not, oh, we're going to go and get a manager that's not available in the middle of December in a season. What's the realistic plan if he got sacked tomorrow night? What's the realistic plan? And by the way, please factor in, if Thomas Frank goes, all his backroom staff go as well, right? So that means Tottenham lose, 8 coaches and a manager overnight and have to replace that in December? Chris, talk to me.
Well, I'm not the person to ask because I'm asking the same question because I'm not on board of getting rid of him. I don't see the point. Although, whilst I'm still backing him, it's not like I'm dismissing the concerns that people have, right? I fully recognise. I'm going to the games. I'm sitting there. And by the way, on Tuesday night, in front of me, there were 6 empty seats. Next to me were 5 empty seats. Behind me were 4 empty seats. I was a little paranoid at one point. I started like sniffing myself to make sure I'd at least given myself a bit of links, you know. But the amount of empty seats there were unbelievable. But yeah, I don't know what the plan is. I tell you what I really fear is going to happen. What I fear is going to happen is that we will limp on with Frank for a little while. And if it doesn't get any better, sack him second half of the season, have some caretaker in charge, and then we'll just wait it out for Pochettino in the summer. And I'm super not on board with any of that. But
I agree.
It would be a very easy way to win the fans over, though. Not me particularly.
But you know why I asked this, Chris? Do you know why I asked this? Because I think we're very good at saying out, and I'm guilty of this in the past as well. All of us, right? But when I ask anybody, all right, cool. I told you about Frank. Cool. Fair. Well done. You were right. Right. Now let's talk about our football club. What's the plan, right? What's the plan? What managers are available? What managers will want to come to Tottenham mid-season? What managers will want to come to us knowing that they haven't got the players to hit the ground immediately running for their formation or their style? Like I've seen, there's 2 people in the chat having a conversation about Thomas Frank had all summer to implement a style of play. All summer with no playmaker, no left winger, Richarlison as the only striker, and no ball playing midfielder, right? So he had all summer, but without the jigsaw pieces, and people are wondering why there isn't the style. So, Perchy, I'll ask you then, right? Of all the names that people are mentioning, and I'll ask again, you watch, we'll do, I love this exercise. Everyone in the chat, what name do we get tomorrow night? Let's just say, hypothetically, Thomas Frank loses 5-0 at Newcastle. The board go, enough's enough. See you later. It's now the 3rd of December. Who do you bring in on the 3rd of December that is achievable and that hits the ground running? Anybody in the chat? Feel free to give me names and then we'll go through them, Perchy.
Gareth Southgate.
Look,
stop it. No. Look, no. Hang on. I didn't say you'll hit the ground running, but my point is though, I don't. By the way, but again, I have to carry it because everyone's going to go into chats later on and go, "Perchy wants Southgate." No, I don't. But I'm saying it in the sense of click of a finger. Everyone, I knew the chat would go Xavi, right? I knew everyone would say Xavi.
Yeah.
Spurs call up
Xavi.
No, but Spurs will call up Xavi and go, Xavi, we look, Frank's going, we want you. Okay. Right. What's the plan? Because he's not going to come there without a plan, right? He's not a manager that will go there and go, like, for example, he's not going to go there for 6 months and go, cool, I'll stay to the end of the season. It's not, he won't be that manager. Then, okay, now you look at other available managers, Eric Ten Hag. Well, everyone wants a winner all of a sudden, right? Eric Ten Hag's available. So it's easy, right? It's easy to just chuck out. It's easy, sorry, just to chuck out. Oh, we'll get this person. I hear everyone says Glasner. Well, why on earth would Oliver Glasner in December go, yeah, I'm going to leave Palace when I'm out of contract? Glasner is unhappy, but not stupid. Glasner will get a bigger offer than Tottenham in the summer. He's out of contract at Palace. He will get a massive offer, I think.
Can we look at, though, I mean, like, look, some of the names I'm seeing are managers that I like, right? But Chris, we all know in football, there's a big difference between the managers that you like and the managers that are actually available. So loads of people are talking about Holness, by the way, of Stuttgart. Right now, how happy do we think Stuttgart will be that we rock up and try and take their manager, right, in December, right? You know, Xavi. Now, Xavi's available, right? But Xavi, I said this yesterday, Chris, right? And I make myself laugh when I say this because I'm almost picturing it. Try and picture this with me, Chris. Xavi takes the job, right? And we all know that Xavi comes from Barcelona. He grew up there as from what, a 6-year-old or whatever, all the way to the first team playing tiki-taka, played all the best tiki-taka for Spain and Barcelona. His team played nice passing football, possession-based. And this is the funny bit for me, Chris. I picture him going into Tottenham Hotspur way, right, on day one of training, going, right, guys, this is how we're going to play. And watching Bentancur, Gray, Bergveld, Sarr trying to do this keep ball style of football, the short passing, the quick first touch, pass, move. And I'm just picturing him doing this. And then our fans watching that in a Saturday going, what are we doing? Like, that's my vision of it.
Well, I think you can roughly break down managers into two camps here. There are a whole load of managers who would jump at the opportunity to manage Tottenham, right? There are. I'm not even going to go into names right now. I think, though, that the vast majority of managers that we are talking about who are worth their salt are probably unlikely to want to join Tottenham. But let's even play with the argument that they've got an interest. Does the conversation not go a bit like this? And whichever manager you want, go, are you interested in managing Spurs? And I think the response is either going to be no, or it's going to be, well, potentially. However, you've been a mess for years. Your squad needs massive improvement. So, are you going to back me to do that improvement? And secondly, are you going to give me the time to do it? Because no manager is going to accept that 13 league games is enough to turn it around. And the evidence suggests that the answer to the second one is a absolutely resounding no. You're not going to get the time. So why would someone like Glasner put themselves into the firing line of that when, let's be honest, failure is almost inevitable?
Chris, isn't it? If you were going to sign a contract with Tottenham, you were putting in your contract, I want a massive payoff. Like, you will have that written in your contract. If I'm sacked before the end of my contract, I get X, Y, and Z. Right? Let's be fair, you are, aren't you? Because the problem with Tottenham now. Here's the problem. Here is the big problem, by the way. If Spurs do sack Thomas Frank, and we want to get in another manager, the issue is the only managers that will want to join us will be managers going short term, easy payout, and you will have. Do you know what? Do you know what the biggest problem for me is? You'll end up getting someone like Erik ten Hag who will do similar to what happened with him at Leverkusen, and go, "Oh, cool, they'll just sack me. Like, I'll come in and I'll get sacked." Sorry, did I just read, by the way, that he'll get saying about Xavi? Sorry, Matt, you having a mare again, my man?
He loved it.
Xavi would love to get his... No, I'll piss off with it. Right, okay.
Listen, but the thing is, as I said before, this is the thing. Someone like Matt talks a great game. He talks a great game. And by the way, if Tottenham, I'll say this, you can clip me right now. If Spurs went and got Xavi Hernandez as manager, I'm a happy boy. I like Xavi, by the way. But you know what Xavi would need? He would need 3, 4, 5 transfer windows to get rid of all the players that can't control a ball and pass a football and bring in technically gifted footballers, right? Yeah. And the problem is, during that process, fans like Matt are the first ones, like they're doing now with Frank, to go, well, this isn't working. Because what I hear all the time, guys, is this. As long as we saw a clear style of play, we'd be happy. Fuck off, would you? Fuck right off. If we saw a clear style of play, but we're still losing these games, no one's going to turn around and go, I can see what he's trying to do. The problem is going to be, as always, whatever manager comes in will need the players to play their way. And the current squad has been built for about 5 different managers, right? So Xavi comes in and he wants to play this possession game of football. Who in our squad in midfield? People always use the players out in midfield where a game is controlled. who in our midfield could play Xavi's style of football? Because it's not Paulinho, it's not Bentancur, not Gray or Bergvall or Sarr or Basuma. So who is playing this Xavi Hernandez way of football? And then what will happen is the first 10, 15 games, you might get a few good results. People will be happier because the football's a bit nicer. And then it will all go back to normal, lads. And then everyone will be going, yeah, Xavi's style doesn't work in the Premier League. He's not suited for the Premier League. And this is the problem. And that's me talking about a manager that I rate. I rate Xavi, but
Savva, isn't the biggest problem though? Let's be fair. What your question, right? Who in our midfield will be able to play like Xavi? Do you know what the scary thing is? It's probably Christian Romero. Isn't that the terrifying thing? Well, isn't that the terrifying thing, right? Christian Romero is probably the only one that could pass a ball in our team. Like, isn't that the terrifying part of it?
Yeah, but have you seen the thing is, yes, Romero is the one that can pass the ball, but the difference is, this is what people need to look at. Managers like Xavi, managers like Pep, the way they get their teams passing, it's all done very quickly. Lots of movement, short, sharp passing, right?
Yeah, that's good point, actually.
Romero, his passing's good when he's got time at the back to pick a pass, and he takes about 15 seconds and then plays a good pass in.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, if you look at Barcelona, and that the reason you have to talk about Barcelona is that is everything Xavi has known, right? Xavi Hernandez has grown up with a Barcelona style of play, and that's how he wants his team to play. They play short, sharp passes, right? And what will happen, I'm telling you now, our fans will think it's a good idea now, but unless you are bringing in Xavi Hernandez in a summer window where he can join, and in the same window, bring in a brand new midfield that all play his way, right? Go and get an Angelo Stiller or, a Gomez or whoever it may be. We will have the exact same problem, but with a different style of play. This is the problem, Perchy. You bring in Glasner, everyone will start talking about, oh, he's really pragmatic. We don't want that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the point with Glasner.
You wanted him because he's a winner. So
I
don't know what the answer is.
I think everyone has to sort of understand what they want, right? I think this is the key bit.
Sorry, I've got to call this out, Perchy. Sorry. You're right, Savva, but I promise you, if I can see a clear brand with triangles and movement, but the player's not performing, I'd be behind it. But, Matt, our players can't do this. So what would happen is we'd lose week in, week out, and then you'd be sitting here going, you're telling me you did get behind this before, Matt. You did get behind losing every week under Ange. Mate, can't we just bring in a sensible manager and give them time? Can we not just do that? Sorry, sorry, mate.
No, it's fine. I just think it's crazy. I think, do you know what? I think the key bit for me is look, isn't this the worry though? Isn't this the whole worry that no one actually knows what they want, right? And no one kind of agreed. I don't expect people to all agree, but one bit, I think the same people don't really know what they want. They want good football, but they want a winner. Right, there's not many managers, that pool of managers that plays good football and wins constantly aren't coming to Tottenham, right? Like, for example, naming managers that constantly win trophies and plays good football. Pep, Hansi Flick, maybe, could you say? Like, we're not getting that level of manager, right? So you've got to be a bit sensible with it. There's not many managers out there that sit there and play this sort of tiki-taka, passing, XYZ football. But no, I just
that's what I'm saying, Richard. I'm not against the names that are being mentioned. I'm not against. My point is, I'm going to use these names against people when it happens and they get impatient again, right?
Yeah.
This is my point. If we bring in Xavi, you need to say, right, we need to give this man 2-3 years and he needs summer transfer windows to get lots of players in and lots of players out. We have shown that after 13 Premier League games, we are not prepared to let a manager learn and grow. 13 games.
And the thing is right, look, I don't mind it. As I said to you, I say this all the time. I just think at the moment we're impatient. And look, it's fine if you want to be impatient, but the movement and the change of direction.
Sorry. Behind Ange because of what style? I didn't see a style. I just saw that we were wide open.
It was just chaos.
So Josh, so let me ask then. So doesn't this then beg the question, Perchy? You've now got 2 fans in the chat saying the same thing, that they're happy to lose every week if they see a certain style. That tells me, Perchy, we do not have a clue as fans what we want, right?
No,
we are happier to lose every week as long as the football is good to watch. That is mind-blowing.
No, I find it. I do find it really, really crazy. And I just look. It is what it is, right? People want what?
Oh, my head hurts. In Al Sadd, he's not playing against Premier League opposition.
Al Sadd are the biggest team in Qatar. Are you fucking
What are you talking about?
That's like sitting there going, oh well, Angepostecoglou won everything at Celtic. It's crazy. Like Al Sadd are the biggest team in Qatar. Wake up, man. But no, I just think it's silly. Look, if people want entertaining football, don't complain. Then say moan about managers not winning, right? Isn't that fair? We can't because we know we're not going to do both. I don't think that's the key bit. Unless you go and get in a top manager and the chairman goes out and signs off on some top players.
Exactly.
Who are we getting? Look, we can go down the road of the Man City when they did it. Are we going to do that? No.
Look at our fan base. It was all or nothing.
Strength and bravery.
We lost loads, but it was strength and bravery. These are the fans right now coming into my chat calling me out on Frank. And I can't do it.
Can I ask a question on that then, Matt? If that's the case, why do you want Frank out now?
Yes. Yeah.
Why do you want Frank out now? Because how do you not know in May that Frank might not dare to do it into an FA Cup final and win the FA Cup? This is why I find it so unbearable. If trophies are all that matters, why do you want Thomas Frank out in December? Why?
Right.
It can't work like that.
Let's look at this. Let's rip these silly opinions apart, right? Look, we want both good football and results. It's not hard. I mean, if it's not hard, why isn't every manager in the world doing it? How? Newcastle don't play great football. They're effective. They don't play great football.
Yes.
By the way, Josh, Newcastle are level on points with us. Maresca, Chelsea fans have been complaining for a year that their style of play isn't good.
Everyone wanted Maresca out at the end of last season.
If you look at Arteta, Arsenal fans have been complaining for years that the style of play is crap. Hertzler plays some decent football, yes, but they never finish above Tottenham, other than last year because of Ange. Iriola's 1 point above Spurs right now and is conceding goals for fun. So what you actually mean?
17th most goals. He's conceded the 4th most goals in the league right now, Iriola.
So what you actually mean is Pep Guardiola does it. That's what you mean is Pep Guardiola does it. This notion, again, what do fans want? What do fans want? 1 minute, Perchy, it's we want brilliant football to watch. The next minute, I don't care what the style is, I want results. The next minute, I want a manager who's a winner. The next minute, I want a manager who attacks. We don't seem to have any idea as a fan base what we want, right? The board don't seem to know what they want. And as I said, I keep watching YouTubers. I'm watching YouTubers that 1 minute are telling me they don't care about the style. The next minute, the manager's got to go because the football's crap. It's like, hang on. I get it. But, and as I said, if he goes, he goes. But we're going to be here this time next year with a new manager. Telling you.
Can I ask someone in the chat, big up what Louis Spencer in the chat, not the Louis Spencer, I don't know, but said identity. That's what you want, identity. Well, you can't gain an identity in 4 months. That takes years. For example, when Mikel Arteta turned up at Arsenal, you didn't know what it's taken him years to understand his identity. So if you want, if identity is what you want, then surely keeping Thomas Frank is the answer, because he'll build that identity of what we are. This is the problem. Everyone wants everything now, but doesn't realize a lot of these things take time. Take time, right? So if you want an identity,
don't want time, Perchy.
No,
as I said,
yeah.
even if it's not Frank, who are they going to give time to? Because right now, people will sit in the chat and say, "Oh, I'll give the time to Glasner. I'll give the time to Iriola." But as I said, the moment things get tough under Glasner in his wing-back formation, the moment he has a run of form like we're in now, do you suddenly think fans are going to turn around and go, "No, I'm going to give Glasner time"? They won't. They will do the same thing again, because these fans, people like Josh, by the way, Josh, I think has disagreed with everything I've said for the years he's been coming into my chat. I could say it's Monday night, he'll say the opposite, right? Same with Matt. People like Josh and Matt, they don't seem to realize how far this squad has fallen over the years. Yeah. They don't seem to get that. These fans talk. Look at Marios last night saying we should definitely be top 4. Like, I'm looking at this and going, what? Who? Sorry, who? And this is the problem. I think we've got, Ferg, are you a child? Are you listening to the actual conversation we're talking about? This is what I mean. You've got people. This is probably one of those idiots who goes in WhatsApp groups, can't follow the trail of the conversation. So just says, who's out his depth? Listen to what we're saying. Cool. If he's out of his depth in 14 games, does that mean we're going to judge the next manager? So, Perchy, right? Let's say we lose tomorrow night, okay? And we are sitting on 18 points from 14 Premier League games. What happens then if we get to 28 Premier League games, so double that, and we're on 36 points because the new manager has done exactly the same? People like Ferg will just come out with, out of his depth, accept it. That's fine, but we're then looking at 3 managers a season. If we're going to judge on 14 games, then we're looking at 3 managers a season.
But isn't the problem, right? So, look, if we're going to use league position, right, and we're going to use it on Tottenham, then if Frank is out of his depth, the managers these people want are below. A lot of these are below Tottenham right now, right? A lot of these, like Eddie Howe, he's below us in the league right now. So, like, look, Arnie Slot won the league last season. They spent nearly £500 million or whatever it was this window. Below us in the league. So
they're 3 points above us now.
So, oh no, sorry, because they won, didn't they? Sorry, they were, but the point still stands, right? In the sense of where is it? Look, I don't, as I always say, no one has underlined a valid reason. No, sorry, I worded it wrong. No one has a valid solution as to what happens post sacking Frank, and I think that worries me. Right, Frank needs to get some results. I think we all know that, but
notice the Fergs, the Matt, right? These people in the chat, the Joshes, as I've said, what's the plan? Somebody give me a point plan that is doable. Not, oh, we're going to go and take Iriola in December. Because if you bring Iriola in December, again, I've got to reiterate this for those at the back. Do you think Iriola is going to get our group of players playing really good football? So Ange couldn't, Frank couldn't, but Iriola is going to come in and immediately in the first 14 games, we're going to be playing good football, Perchy, without making any signings.
And that's the key bit, right? I think the recruitment is the key point here. I think the recruitment, Absolutely. Whether it's Frank, whether it's insert other manager, right? We've got to buy better football players. And it's ironic, isn't it? Everyone gets carried away in the summer. Everyone did get carried away in the summer, massively. And we knew this was, I felt like this was going to happen. I think this is the key bit for me, right? I said it will be a really, really up and down, topsy-turvy season. I knew this was going to be like this. Did I think it would get better than it is? Yeah. But where are we going with this now? Look, as I said, when are we
Why did
ever
people
just
like Conte? Why did people like Conte?
Yeah,
His
yeah.
football was shit. So why did people like Conte?
Because they want this. Good question. I think I've got the solution to this. I think I know why. Conte was very loud. Ange was very loud, right? Getting a little Jose very loud. I think fans want very, very out. Fans want managers that are loud, that talk a lot, right? These managers all spoke a lot. You could argue Jose and Conte had the resume to do it. I think Ange did it because I thought he gaslit a lot of people and pull the wall over on, start telling us a million things and one might come true. Frank's not really that manager, right? And I think that's the problem. Frank is a very meat and two veg kind of manager. Very simple. And I think that is the problem. All people want is a character in charge. They want a Ted Lasso. Our fans want a Ted Lasso in charge.
Can you answer this for me, please? When at Spurs, what top player did Jose and Conte attract to Tottenham?
Well, Conte got in Perisic, right, at 33 or whatever his age was. I mean,
right, okay. Sure.
Jose got. I mean, who did Jose sign?
Right, but see, this is my point, right? This is my point. Jose and Conte came here. They didn't play good football, but now they're being used as the benchmark. But Jose and Conte, do you know what those two had that this manager has not got the privilege of having?
Is it the number 10 and the number 7, the ex number 7, the ex number 10, Kane and Son?
And Son, right? I'm going to put this out there right now. And as I've said, I can caveat this all along. If Frank keeps losing, he will go. Right now, in this 11, even playing this bad, if Son and Kane were in this team in their peak, like they were for Jose and Conte, Tottenham would not have lost all the games we've lost. We'd have many more points, right? But the difference is he doesn't have that luxury, right? He doesn't have that luxury. He doesn't have Kulu. He doesn't have Maddison, right? He doesn't have a Dembele or a Modric. He doesn't have any of these players, right?
Yeah,
now,
I agree.
Hang on. I want to answer my man, Matt. Why was you not saying all these things last year, this time of the season, when every stat was better than it is now? Because this time last season, Matt, Ange had been in the job for 18 months, had spent nearly £400 million, and all of his players weren't injured yet. So that's why, Matt. So when people, this is the thing, Matt, you clearly have the internet, you're here every day, but you keep coming out with waffle. If you look last season, the players for Spurs started to get injured in and around the 14, 15 game of the season mark. So for the first 13, 14 games, if you actually look, I believe it was in the first 12, Tottenham lost 5 of their first 12 under Ange, right? By the way, this isn't a competition between Ange and Frank. But this year, it's the opposite. Frank has not had his best players for the first 12, 13 games.
That's the main thing for me.
Right? This time, Frank has not had £400 million in the transfer market. He's not had 18 months, right? Ange as well had a whole year with no Europe to implement his philosophy on the training ground. Thomas Frank is not. He's come in, he's playing every 3 games and playing in the Champions League. That's why, mate. If this was the 1st of December 2026 and it looked the way it did, I have got massive issues. But Matt, let's throw it back to you. Why then, every time we lost last season, did you say he needs 3 to 5 years? He needs 3 to 5 years. And now with Frank, he's on thin ice after 14 games.
That's a great point. You can't have it both ways, right?
Drop moment because you have just exposed yourself there. Sorry.
I just want to clear something up in the chat as well.
Sure.
When people said that when people said that Jose got Gareth Bale, actually Jose didn't actually want Gareth Bale. He actually, if you read a lot of it, it was actually the club wanted Bale and Jose. And let's be fair, Jose hardly played him when he came back. So
Well,
I
when
would
he came
use that one for. He wasn't fit, was he? And it was ironic.
Jose said he's going to take a couple of months to get fit again, and he's said since, hasn't he, that he didn't actually want.
He said he didn't. The club wanted him. He said fine. He did actually. He's come out and said he didn't want Gareth Bale coming because he knew he wasn't fit enough to play immediately.
Right.
But look, I think
this THFC Max, and this is the difference. Conte may have wanted Bastoni, you're right, but in reality, he got given Joe Rodon. Right now, that's the same of managers at this football club, up and down. So my point wasn't to knock Jose or Conte. My point was that it didn't matter what those two did from a technical, tactical perspective. They were always going to win games of football because they had 50, 60 goal contribution from Kane and Son. Right now, we've got Richarlison and Odobert. Like there's no, you've got no one right now that can dig us out of games when we play badly. And because of that, I have to take a little bit of, okay, this is going to take time. But that time doesn't last forever, right? So
isn't the key bit right as well with Harry Kane? You know, we were talking about passing. Harry Kane did a lot of the legwork in the passing in his latter end of his Spurs career. So we never really had very good passers of the football. But what happened was it was give the ball to Harry Kane. He'll drop in and do the passing for us, right?
Yeah. Look, for me, this is simple, right? I can't keep saying this, Perchy. If he keeps losing, he will lose his job. I can't be any clearer about that. I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with what do we do next? Because I'm going to ask this question. Who in the chat truly believes Tottenham will get it right? Whatever getting it right looks like, who believes that will get it right? Because what's going to happen, right? I can guarantee you what's going to happen, Perchy. Whoever comes in, half the fan base will want the manager, half won't. And that manager immediately will be under massive pressure the way Frank was. Because those that didn't want Ange out automatically don't want Frank. And that's fine. But if we do that again with a new manager, we're going to be sitting here towards the end of the season going, well, that's why I didn't want him. That's why I didn't want him. That's why I didn't want him. That's my concern. It's not dying on a hill for Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank, if he gets sacked, Perchy, I'm jealous because he'll make multi-millions of pounds overnight, right? He's a grown-ass man who will get another job, right?
And the irony is he'll go somewhere and do relatively well, right? Let's be fair. He'll go somewhere, he'll get the time and do half decent.
My concern is not Thomas Frank. This is what these fans don't get. I'm so bored of everyone making everything Ange versus Frank. Fuck off. I don't support Ange. I don't support Frank. I am a Tottenham Hotspur fan, right?
Yeah.
When I first went to watch a game in the 80s at Tottenham, I didn't know who Thomas Frank or Angepostecoglou were. I didn't know who Harry Kane was. These people weren't alive yet, right? I knew Tottenham. So I am open for what Spurs want to do. But my worry is we have seen that Tottenham tend to not back managers and have a habit of making the wrong decision, right? Now, what I'm going to do when Frank goes, because I think it is going to be a when Frank goes, Perchy, I'm going to ask, and I'm going to take screenshots of every single person in my chat, all the usual characters, right? The Josh Wiggins, all of these people that love Ange, all of these Matts. I'm going to take their picture of exactly which manager they want and how long they're prepared to give them, right? I'm going to do that because next year we'll be doing the same thing again. We will be doing the same thing again. You've got people saying as well, I want Poch in the summer. Pochettino's at a World Cup during the summer. How on earth can you want that man to take over in a summer where we need to be wheeling and dealing and training.
He'll be taken over in July. That'd be ridiculous, right?
End of
So
July,
he'll be basically taking
August.
over 1 month mid. He'll be taking over mid pre-season. Like that would be lewd. Like,
That's
do you know?
not what he
Here's
said.
the one, Matt.
That's not what he said, Matt. That's not what he said. He didn't say he would only win 12 games. That's not what he said.
Oh, that is the most disingenuous. I've just read it. That is the most disingenuous comment I've ever read. Behave.
Right. He said, you're like looking at roughly 12 perfect games in a season, right? Not 12 wins. Again, you see what you're doing here to twist your narrative,
a certain word
Matt.
very digits. This, Matt, that's this, because he did. You're right. He said 12 perfect games. He said something like 12 perfect games. There'll be 12 all right games and 12 shit games, or something on that. Something wordy like that, right? Yeah,
and
he didn't say a perfect game is 12 games. That's bullshit.
Right. By the way, absolutely. We've got the receipts. The other Matt said, big up to this Matt, who said, yeah, we do have the receipts. Matt said last year, every manager needs 3 to 5 years. What he actually meant was, I like Ange gets 3 to 5 years, but because it's Thomas Frank, he gets 3 to 4 months. That's what he meant, mate. We keep the receipts. If I wanted to, I could go through every comment Matt has ever posted on this channel. Every
that's
comment.
A show. That's an actual show, by the way.
Right?
Matt, you could be the star of the next show, by the way.
I'll tell you what, we'll do that next week, guys. We'll have a show, right? Where what I do is I'll go through every one of Matt's comments after games last year that Ange lost. And you look, none of the comments were about thin ice, right? None of the comments were about style of play. None of the comments were about he hasn't won me over. There was an excuse. I'm going to call this man out right now. Matt, every game last year that we lost, bearing in mind there were 22 league games that we lost, and said the same thing. The manager needs time and backing. The manager needs time and backing. The manager needs time and backing.
Yeah.
All last year, all Matt said was, look at Enoch. 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 This manager needs time and 3 to 5 years. Now, all of a sudden, suddenly, I've not seen him mention Enoch. P.S. Perchy, our current owners, Enoch, still our owners. I've not seen him mention Enoch once. So once and for all, I think we have exposed that Matt was not a Spurs fan last year. He is, in fact, an Ange fan. That's why he brings him up every single comment. And that is why Ange gets 3 to 5 years in his book. Thomas Frank gets 3 to 4 months.
No. What he did say, this is how I know he didn't say, he said every manager that comes in should get 3 to 5 years is actually his original statement, which is ironic because all of a sudden he doesn't want this manager anymore, which is a little bit ironic. But he done the classic, by the way. Matt did the classic earlier. I did catch you, Matt. I'm not Frank out, though, is what you said. You did. There's a lot of these, but a lot of people go,
do you know, how many people are you seeing? How many YouTubers are you seeing that spend their whole day posting and fuming about Frank? But then when you go, are you Frank out? No, I'm not Frank out. But you do is cuss him.
At the end of it, yeah.
At least when I was Ange out, I said, I'm Ange out, right? I came on stream and went, I'm Ange out. These people are going, he's not the right man, brother. Okay, so you're Frank out. No, I'm not Frank out. I'm going to give him, well, you're not. You're not giving it. Of course,
it's the YouTube game, man. Because the problem is if Frank turns it around, it's plausible liability, right? You're basically getting the complete. Like, I never said I wanted him sacked, though. Look, if you want him gone, own it, right,
Phil? But the funny thing is, Phil, you wouldn't hear Conte, Slot, Pep, etc. talk like that because they're normally at football clubs that demand better and don't have to go through that kind of building, right? The words didn't go down with you well because you know it was the truth, right? This is the thing. It's the truth. Now, for me, Frank shouldn't have said it because I know Spurs fans don't want the truth.
Yeah.
What they want to hear is they want to hear a manager, like when Nuno came in. Nuno is a manager that doesn't play good football. But to get on everybody's side, what did Nuno say? Right? Nuno said, we're going to play good football and make you proud. Why has he said that? Because the fans want to hear it, right? look at last year. Ange says this squad is capable of challenging for a title at the beginning of the season, right? Now, fans love that. Look, these fans, oh, I love hearing that. What a winning mentality.
Yeah.
No, that's called a lie. That's like me saying, yeah, if Margot Robbie and Beyonce walk into this house, they're going to fancy me. No, they're not. It's a fucking lie, right?
That's the problem, right?
But they want to hear nice things, right? Listen, should Frank have said that? No. But it didn't go down well with people because they knew it was the fucking truth. They knew it was painful. They knew we were going to have a tough year. Fans knew that. And you look at it, right, Perchy? Most Spurs fans I would not want to go to war with because when things get tough, they have not got the stomach to see anything out. They have not got the stomach.
No, I think that's the key bit for me. That's the key bit. Look, as I said, if he goes, he will. Like, I sometimes feel like a lot of these conversations are a little bit redundant, right? Because it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what the 432 people in this chat think. Because if Frank keeps losing, he will get sacked. We all know that's how it will be. As I say, I don't care because everyone thinks I want to die on a hill for Frank. It's not true. I don't care. Frank will be here or Frank won't be here. It doesn't really matter. For me,
why are there so many dickheads? Is this man not listening to a word I'm saying?
I don't get this.
He's
Your
not
manager,
my manager.
He's our manager as a football club. What are you on about?
He's not my manager. Listen to what I'm saying, Bruce. If he goes tomorrow, do you know who my manager is? Whoever gets the job tomorrow is my manager. What are you doing? Hang on. I've got to say this. I'm so fed up. This is about YouTubers and viewers. This whole fucking thing, and I'm swearing now, right? This whole fucking YouTube thing has been soured down, Perchy, because all the YouTubers and the viewers want to do is point scoring, right? Yeah. All of these people, how they come off, it isn't like this person. It isn't, right, what's best for Spurs, right? It's not, I'm concerned with what's happening at my football club. It's point scoring. Yeah, but you wanted this manager. Yeah, but you wanted him. But you wanted that. But you wanted that player. We are Spurs fans. I am seeing YouTubers that prefer to gloat when we lose, right, than actually showing that they're annoyed or frustrated or angry, right? We are Spurs fans. And sorry, I'm going to vent, Perchy. We are Spurs fans, right? Yes, I wanted Thomas Frank. And if it doesn't work out with Thomas Frank, do you know what, Perchy? Then it's not worked out and we move on. But this whole nonsense of you wanted Frank, right? Lots of people wanted Nuno. Lots of people wanted Conte. That didn't work out. Lots of people wanted Jose. Lots of people wanted Ange. Lots of people wanted Poch. That's going to happen, right? We have to stop this point scoring, whether it's YouTubers or viewers.
Yeah.
Stop the point scoring. All I've done is try to provide a platform to ask the question of, fine, if the manager goes, not my manager, not your manager, not Perch manager, if our manager goes, all I'm asking is, what is the plan? That's fine. He can go. What is the plan and what are people going to be happy with?
Yeah.
Right? Because at some point, everybody's got to stop fucking talking about Angepostecoglou. He is not here, right? It is absolutely mental. Just because Frank might not work out doesn't mean we should have kept Ange. Two things don't necessarily mean the same thing, right? But why are we not? In all these YouTube shows I'm watching, I'm not seeing anybody going, you know what? Okay, it's not worked with Frank, or it might not work. What we need to do is this. I told you. What did I say? He's not the right man. But okay, cool. But the reason why Thomas Frank there is because the last man wasn't the right man. The reason that Ange was there is because the man before him wasn't the right man. I can go back to the beginning of Tottenham fan. Yeah. So apologies for venting, but I'm so bored of the point scoring. I'm so bored of the point scoring. I'm so bored of people that come into my chat every single week, and all they want to talk about is Ange. People like Matt bore me to tears. Ange. Shut up. He's not here. Since Ange Postecoglou left this football club, he's gone somewhere else, failed and been sacked again, right?
Yeah.
So can we please, we are Spurs fans, can we please have some form of conversation, right? About what do we do if the manager goes, rather than your manager, you wanted him, Frank, look, idiot, they can't do it, can they? Look how it's so mental.
It's draining. It's draining, man.
It's draining. And every time I do a show, I said to you the other month, Perchy, I want to, and I'm going to send everyone over in a minute to the Spurs 5. I said to everybody, I want to make my channel somewhere where we can all talk like adults and have some conversation. And yet all you get is point scoring. I told you this. I told you that. Sorry, if we're going to do that, how many opinions do you think a year we get right or wrong? How many team predictions
get loads wrong as well?
Everybody in the chat is wrong every week with their score predictions. We're wrong with score. It's football. Please stop. Look. Like, no one hyped him up as some sort of...
Where's this nonsense come from?
It's absolutely ridiculous that somebody let these people breathe the same air of us and have the internet. It's mad. If Frank doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know what? The next manager might not work, but you know what? He's going to be in place. And I'm going to give him more than 14 games, whoever the next manager is. So can we please stop with the point scoring? Oh, I know. How bad of me for predicting my team would beat Fulham. Oh, I know.
It's so weird. It's just gone stupid, man.
It's mad. Look, I'm going to leave it there. I'm just so bored of watching I can't watch a Spurs channel now without, it feels like they're gloating. It feels like people are gloating. But we are going to end the show there. Let me do some super chats quickly. First and foremost, I think somebody sent me a coffee. Yeah, they did. Mark Taylor sent me a coffee. Thank you so much, dude. Really, really do appreciate you. I'll bring Chris back in, but we are ending the show. Thank you, Mark, for sending me a coffee.
I've got to jump.
All right, mate. See you later. So big up, Savva. Spurs fans don't know what they want. Mark, we absolutely know that they don't know what they want. Steve, big up to you for coming a member. What a beautiful dog that is. Lovely colouring. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Steve. Big up to Ian JD. Said, does Frank survive a 5-0 loss tomorrow? No, I don't think he does. I genuinely, I think there comes a point with most managers where a big defeat at the end of a bad run of games kind of is the nail in the coffin. I'm hoping it's not 5-0 tomorrow, but we'll see. Big up to you, Ian. Big up to coming again, very generous. Said the most important aspect to any club is scouting and player recruitment. Bang on. If you get that right, you give any manager a platform to succeed. An area we've been poor in for 10 years. Absolutely, Ian. Got to get the recruitment right. We haven't. Big up to you, JB McCauley. So what standard are you prepared to accept as we build? How long do we wait? Well, I guess the question is, how long do we wait for what? We're a football club that have won one trophy in 17 years. So when you say how long are you prepared to wait, for what? We had 6 years under Poch that people loved and it didn't win anything. So what are we judging? What are we judging waiting for? And this is my problem, Jay. Too many people put metrics without actually giving a destination. How long are you going to give him? For what? Like, what do you mean? Big up to you, JB. Appreciate that. Daniel said, big up Savva from Thailand. Big up to you. I want to back Frank, but I have a feeling some players are not backing him. Sure. Has he lost the dressing room? Mate, I don't know. We're going to find out in the next few games. And if he has lost the dressing room, let's hope the new manager gets to the dressing room, because if he's lost the dressing room in 14 games, that screams to me not just a Frank problem, but a player problem. If you've lost the dressing room in 14 days, big up to you. Chris, thank you very much. Really appreciate you.
All right. I only jumped on at the end to go in the backstage, but it's fine.
Okay. All right, no worries. Well, look, I'm going to send you all over to the Spurs 5. When you get there, just say Savva Raid or FHTV Raid. Show those boys some love. Hit the subscribe button for them all. Take care. And please stop the point scoring. We are all Tottenham fans. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.